Recipes can't teach you real Indian cooking, so today I'm going to show you how I cooked without a recipe through this comforting chicken curry that I grew up eating. And don't worry, I'll show you how to adapt this to your tastes and flavors. It's easier than you think to cook with intuition and recreate the flavors of home. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out why my chicken curry didn't taste like my grandmother's. It's not complicated, but adding the salt and turmeric at this stage allows the chicken to be seasoned from the inside. Once you understand the why, you can be more intuitive in the kitchen. I'm using mustard oil, but you could use a neutral oil or ghee. It'll still taste delicious. These are the spices I reach for. Use the one that you have. What's important is how you layer them. I start with bold and warming spices, bloom them till they've taken on a glossy shine and the oil is perfumed by their aroma. This shouldn't take more than a minute. Start with the woodier spices and then move on to the more delicate, fragrant ones. You can stop here, but I like to add grassier spices like cumin seeds. This creates layers of flavor and echoes the ground spices we're going to add later. I slice the onions instead of dicing them because I like the texture, but if you want them to dissolve, feel free to finely chop them. Season in stages. It helps the onions cook quicker and it creates depth of flavor. I find that pale onions almost at the verge of browning provide the right amount of sweetness. I add more garlic than ginger because I like more garlic flavor, but this is another area where you can let your palate guide you. Once you see the brown bit sticking to the bottom of the pan, you know you're ready for the next step. Increase the heat so the chicken doesn't stew and release all its juices. We want to seal the outside of the chicken, which means it turns from pink to white. This approach to cooking, where we move beyond rigid recipes and embrace intuition, is what I love to teach. It's truly an empowering feeling. These brown bits that you see at the bottom of the pan is pure flavor. It might look burnt, but it's actually what adds depth of flavor. This is another step that you can adjust based on your preferences. The goal is to add some kind of acidic ingredient. Tomato is a good option here. You can use yogurt, use enough to coat all the chicken pieces, and lower the heat when you add it so it doesn't split. And scrape off those brown bits to incorporate them into the sauce. I use Kashmiri red chili, but use hot red chili powder if you prefer more heat. These are the spices that I reach for. I like an equal ratio of cumin to coriander, but you can adjust it to your preferences. I see so many recipes add the spice powders before this step, and it might work for them, but there's a high tendency of overcooking or burning the spices, so I add them now. I added more red chili because the color just doesn't look right to me. Use all your senses, not just taste. Oil separation is probably the most important technique in Indian cooking. The oil floating on top is a signal that you've developed depth of flavor. You don't want to add any additional water at this stage to intensify the flavors. Now that we've developed sufficient depth of flavor, add in the water. This depends on how thick you want the sauce to be, and season in stages. Now is a good time to cook with the lid on and keep checking to ensure it's perfectly done. Looks good, but it needs a bit more time. Now it looks perfect. Let's taste and see where we're at. This needs a bit more salt and some sugar to balance everything out. Seasoning perfectly is an art, and it takes a few tries to taste and adjust. No one gets it right the first time. Don't be afraid to add enough salt because it brings out all the other flavors.
Yeah? Just a moment.
Remember the whole spices we added in the beginning? We want to echo those flavors by adding garam masala right at the end. We don't want to cook the garam masala too much because the delicate fragrance will disappear otherwise. Turn off the heat and cover the pot and let the flavors mingle while we get ready for plating.
You've got to stop plating.
This looks and smells like what my grandmother would make, with a few adjustments for my American kitchen. Look at the consistency of the sauce. It's exactly what I was hoping for. It's thin but not watery, and you can see the specks of red, flavorful oil floating on top. Green chili is typical, but I've added cilantro because I love the fresh herbaceousness. The red oil floating on top indicates that you've achieved ultimate comforting flavor. This is not excess oil, but it just means that you've developed enough depth of flavor. I don't follow a strict recipe, but just some guidelines to recreate the flavors of home while keeping the essence of the dish alive. I love a lot of sauce. Eating this is not just satisfying, but it takes me back to the love and laughter around the dining table with my family in Kolkata. Each time you cook with intuition, you develop a mental map of what the steps are. The more you practice, the more you'll sharpen that map and get closer to the flavors you remember. That's what I love about intuitive cooking. It's not just cooking and following instructions, it's a deeper connection to memories and where you come from. And when you're far away from your roots, it can be that vital thread that makes you feel grounded again. If you're craving not just the flavors of home, but a deeper connection to where you come from, I invite you to join my program. I'd love to show you what's possible. All the details are in the description.